Um, Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another day of learning. So this is just the starting point for the software development journey. And over the past few days, I've been trying to explain some fundamentals to us so that we understand the foundations and we understand the basics before we start writing our codes. So today, um, we actually have a couple of great sessions coming up about the history of the web. And you might be asking again, read one. Come on, let's go to coding. But this is really important because we need to understand what problems we had in the past and how we found solutions to those problems and where we are presently. So we need to understand what this whole thing of being a web developer means and what problems we are solving and what we did in the past and what we are doing today. So today we are going to talk about Tim Berners-Lee. Pardon me in case I couldn't, pronounce the name very well. So this person invented the World Wide Web in 1989. And this is a picture of him right here. And we are going to talk about him because he's the first web developer. In case you can't hear me, just let me know so that if I need to adjust some things. And so this is the picture of Tim Berners-Lee, the first developer. He developed the World Wide Web in 1989. And in order to explain that concept, we need to make a distinction between the internet and the World Wide Web. So if I go to my Google Chrome, I'm coming. Let me share my screen with you. My browsers. Okay. So if I go to Google Chrome, um, I have this website. So the website you are seeing presently, which is vox.com/a/internet maps. I'm going to copy that and share it with us in the chat window. I'm sharing that right away. So that's the website in case you want to confirm things from on your own browser. So it is really really good if you kind of want to get a history lesson. But essentially, the internet started off with the ARPANET in 1969. So basically, ARPANET is just it is a military project and was more of a test, and it connected a few universities such as Utah, UCLA, and throughout the 90s and throughout the 80s. So it kept growing, but there was a problem, you know, that they had to, there was a problem they had, and that was essentially for academics. You know. So they needed a way to share documents, and up until the World Wide Web existed, the internet was there, but it was really, really hard for computers to communicate with each other, to share academic papers between each other. So most of the time, each computer had their own way of doing things. Or you could, you know, think of this as a language, human language. So it's kind of like communicating with people from different background, different countries, and you know, a language that you don't know. So you can actually make that work, but trying to make different computers to communicate with each other, having different languages, but it is very very difficult. So that was the problem they faced that time. So I'm going back to the slide. So, and this guy here, Tim Berners-Lee. So what he did, and he was working at CERN, which is CERN. At that time, he actually created the World Wide Web, and what the World Wide Web is www that we see wherever we type in google.com, facebook.com, like www.google.com, www.facebook.com, www.balogridwan.com. So it is a common language that all computers speak. The www dot, it's a common, like, it's a language. So they need to like agree, like, okay, fine. If we want all computers to communicate with each other on the internet, then they must speak the same language. Not that I'm speaking German, you are speaking Chinese, and at the end of the day, it's kind of difficult for us to like understand each other. So with the World Wide Web saying, you know, hey guys, from now on, everybody, we want to communicate together. So if we want to share images, we want to share files and the likes, we need to like speak one language. So let's just have this agreed upon language, agreed upon protocol in order to share these documents together. So that is what this is, these Google servers. And the HTML files, the CSS files, JavaScript files, the browsers all work on top of the World Wide Web. So if you can think of it as the internet, as your phone, and the World Wide Web is just like Twitter, like Facebook, that runs on your phone. So it is essentially a decentralized application. Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's very, very cool. So the question is, how is it that Tim Berners-Lee, pardon me for that pronunciation, it's not a Nigerian name. So how is it that Tim Berners-Lee is the first web developer? This guy here, So, well, he actually created the first browser. He created the first server. And later on, we're actually going to talk about what he did with the files over here as well. These files, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So, but he created the very first server and the very first web browser. And also, he created the first website. And they actually have a copy of it. Let me share my screen and my browser with you. They still have the first website ever on the internet. This is it. If you can't see my screen, just let me know so that I make adjustments, and I don't want us to like, can you see my screen? So this is the copy of the first website ever on the internet. That's the copy, and it is from 1991. And this is what it's looked like. Okay, I have a chart. Okay, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. So this is what it looks like, and he created this ability for people to communicate, to link to other documents, so that we can have this growing knowledge based of of the world. So you can see, I can click. We have links to other pages. Then So oh, sorry. Back to my slide. Okay. So in the next lesson, we are going to be talking about the history of these files, what they mean. I mean, these HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files, what they mean, what problem they solve, and how they came, they came to be. So I'll see you in the next one. If you have any questions, just ask before I move on to the next one, because I don't want to like delay us today. We still have I want us to finish everything about this talking everything today. Then we'll start coding, starting from Monday next week. But all these things we need to understand. Coding from next week? No, we are coding from today. Don't worry. We'll start today. So if you have any questions about the class and everything, like the ones we've done today, just ask questions so that I can move to the next one. I have to unmute. Okay. So if you have any questions, please let us ask. Hello. Hello. Okay. I think I have to move to the next stage in case we don't have any question. But in case you have any question, just is the class over? No. We are just starting. So, in the absence of no question, I think I need to move to the next stage, which is hello. Okay. So, welcome back. In the last lesson, I discussed how the first guy to develop the internet, his name, the history, and even I showed us the first internet ever, the first website ever on the internet. So I think I've shared the link. We can also go through it, but let me see. So we'll be moving to the next one because we have a lot of things to cover today, and I want to like make sure we do something today, something practical. So I'm going to share with us the link to that website, the first website ever on the internet, made by Tim Berners-Lee. I know some people are just joining us, and trust me, you've really missed a lot. But I'll make sure I record the video and send it to us as usual. So that you can check your charts. That is the link to the first website ever on the internet. So I will be moving on to the next session, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Trust me, we are starting our coding today. I know you are excited, like at last. So in the last session, we talked about the World Wide Web and the internet and what the differences were. Then I promise you that we'll finally talk about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I've been referencing this file, this HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and I just told you that they are just simple text files, but what are they specifically? What are they? So if we go back to the first website ever made by that guy, Tim Berners-Lee. Let me share my browser with you. If you can't see my screen, just let me know. So initially, if you remember, we had Tim Berners-Lee who created the very first website, and the website uses HTML. And HTML, that is the file over here in my slide. We've been seeing it before. So HTML is just a way for us to write text on websites. All these text you see here is just the work of HTML. And these text can have things called hyperlinks, something like this. So here's an hyperlink, which links to another website. Which links to another website. So that is hyperlink. Any text that links to another document on that particular, maybe on the website or on another website or external website. So we call them hyperlink. So what happened in 1991? In 1991, we had a way for us to share documents, and this can link to like another document or another file or another search paper. But as you can see, it wasn't the prettiest. This website is just ugly compared to the likes of having Facebook and the likes. So in 1995 to 1996, two technologies came into being. One was CSS, and the other one was JavaScript. I'm going to share my slide. Sorry. Okay. So in 1995 to 1996, these two technologies, CSS and JavaScript, came into being. Now, what did they allow you to do? CSS solved the problem of, like this website, pretty ugly, you know. So will it like look nice if we like add some visual aspects to it, so we can also play around and make things beautiful. Then JavaScript, ideally we will be able to see something like this on the website, something like, let me say, jumia.com. Now if we go to jumia.com.ng, I just want to use them as an example. So if you go to jumia.com.ng, you'll be able to like click on products. You see a lot of different things on their website. You can see browser, you can see products, you can click on, you can make payments, add your address, delivery address, and everything. You can add to cart. You can shop. Basically, you can put your card and everything like that. So all these things, you can do all these interactive things on the website. So that's just basically the work of using CSS to have a kind of beautiful layout. Then we have JavaScript that add interactivity to your website, whereby if you click on a button, it goes to another place where you can add to cart, you can check out, input your card details and everything. So with this first website ever on the internet, won't it like look cool if we had a little bit of CSS to it and probably some JavaScript to it? So that way we are going to do that is we are going to like open our developers tools. I think that should be the second day I talked about you using developers tools to like edit any website. And that day we even use developer tools to even delete Google's website, if you could remember. So we are going to use the same tool right now. So just right click. If you are using Chrome, I'm using Chrome, then click on inspect, or you click or you press Ctrl Shift I on your keyboard. So once I right click, by the left hand side there's a pop-up. So this pop-up, I can use it to like inspect any element on the page. All the text you see here, the body and everything, they are elements. If you alight on any of the elements on the right pop-up, you see that there is a kind of effect on the left. So it is possible for you to add these at the bottom of your page. It depends on your browser's orientation of the pop-up. So I'm going to like do a little bit practical stuff here. So presently we have this white background and we have this hypertext and everything. How about we adding some colors to this page? How about we trying to like beautify things and make things look cool? How about that? So I'm going to like select, let's say I want to add let's say blue color to this, a background color to this body of the website. So I'm just going to click here. You can see body of the website. So once you click here, then you come to, there's another option here. You see something called styles. So these styles is just here as if you are adding some styles to your website to beautify it. So I can just come here and be like, okay, background color. So once you are typing here, you see a lot of options, drop down options whereby you can select anything that is in line with what you are trying to achieve. So you can type like background color, then column. What color can we use? Let's use blue. So I use blue. Look at that. So I've changed something. So that means I can. This blue looks ugly. So how about we using what can we use? Aquamarine. Look at that. So I've added a little bit you know um, style to the page. Then let's say I want to change the text colors. Basically we have by default the text colors are green. Then we have the hyperlinks in blue. Let's say I want to change the text color to what can we change it to deep blue. I can just like under the style option, just click the next line, color, which stands for text color. Then what can we use? Let's use um, uh, blue, brown. Let's use brown. Look at that. So presently, I'm using the developers tools to inject some CSS styles to the page. So Chrome allow you to play around with any website. You can change things, you can add a lot of things, and you can inject some CSS or JavaScript files to that. So that's just that. Then let's see how we can add JavaScript files to the site too. These are just some basic things to do. You can do that at your leisure time. You can play around with things. There are a lot of options here. A lot of options. For example, you see this margin here, margin 8. That means the body of the website has a margin of 8 at the top, 8 on the left side, bottom, and right hand side. You can increase this. I can even add another margin. Let me see. Let's add. Let's say we want to add margin to it. Margin top. Let's add 50 pixel. So then you can see I'm shifting the thing down. I can even increase it to, let's say, 500. You see? So you can play around with any website. You can, even this Jumia's website, I can play around with a lot of things here. I can just be like, okay, they use they have some colors there. They use something like gray color for their text. I want to change that. I want to add, I want to change the text to, let's say, uh, to blue. So it's gone. So I added. Okay. So look at that. So I'm toying around with Jumia's website. You can just be like, okay, this text over here, they use gray. Gray is ugly. How about using another text color for that? So it's something you can actually do. So all these things you can toy around with any website. You can do a lot of things. So that's just the way it is. Oh, I used let me use red. You can see I'm picking colors from here. So Google Chrome allows you to do all these things. It's the same thing with other browsers, but I've been using Google Chrome for a couple of years, so I know how it works. Unlike me working on Mozilla Firefox and the likes, but as a web developer, you have to know how all these browsers work and how you can get things done. Because when you are developing, you have to don't worry, we'll get there. We have different browsers, we have different devices. How can you make sure like your website looks very beautiful on all the browsers, on all the devices? So we are going to get there in the next session. So let's add a little bit of JavaScript to the first website ever on the internet. So I'm going to remove that margin. Then I'm going to remove the color. Then this is what we have. So if you go back to developers tool again, if you click on inspect, or you can click on you can press Ctrl Shift I on your keyboard. Look at this thing over here, the console. So with this console, you can do a lot of programming with it, even without you installing any text editor or programming software on your system. So you can do a lot of JavaScript programming through your browser using the Google Chrome console. So if you click here, let's say I want to add a little pop-up to this website, I can just be like, okay, alert. Don't worry about all these commands. We'll get there very soon. So I'm just trying to show you the possibilities, what you can achieve and what you can do with any website, you come across. You can add a lot of things to it. So let's say I want to have a pop-up like, hi, this is the first website ever. See that? Look at that. So I have this pop-up over here. I can add other things like, okay, what else can I add? Alert. Hi, my name is Redwan. Look at that. So you can do a lot of things, do a lot of programming, you using your Google Chrome browser developers tool. You can add some styles to any website. You can perform different operations. You can, you can have some programming lines to. You can inject some files to any website. So with these two, I think you've actually learned some cool stuff with this. So now, obviously, this doesn't do anything, and but hopefully, this shows you where we were before. And in 1991 to where we have presently, websites that are attractive, full of JavaScript websites, full of CSS and HTML have evolved over time. So with this, I think you actually understand how everything started and what problems we had in the past and where we are today and what we've actually achieved. So see you in the next one. Thank you. If we have any questions, let us ask us. My trial stuff is going to end in the next 10 minutes. So in the absence of no question, I think we need to move forward to the next topic, which is developers fundamentals part 2. Do we have any questions, please? I'm going to unmute all. Do we have any questions as regards the session?
No question. No question. No question.
Okay. So is this something we can move to the next stage?
Yes.